Today, 13 specific church social media post ideas for summer.
Actual post formats that you can steal with examples that you can put on your calendar.
So if you feel like you're running low on inspiration or you're just parading out the same types of content over and over and over again, this episode's for you.
Let's dive in.
Well, hey there and welcome to the Pro Church Tools Show. We're here to help you and your church navigate the biggest communication shift in 500 years. I'm Brady Shearer, your host. I'm joined as always by my co-host. We call him the Apple Music Minister. It's Alexander Mills.
Hello, hello.
So we know that the summer is the off season for most churches.
Sure.
Which means we have more leeway to try some things, to get into our experimental bag. And this is about a month ahead of summertime. And we want to start putting on your radar some social media post ideas that we think would be really worth your effort.
Yeah.
We have a philosophy on social media: repeat the best, forget the rest, continue to test.
Now's the time to test.
This is all about testing and the continuation of it. So we've got 13 specific ideas, and let's kick the first one off.
Yeah, this first one is called the Church Summer Bucket List.
So the idea here is that you're going to go to each staff member or each key team leader and ask for one item. What's like the one thing that you always look forward to doing every summer? Just that thing. Maybe it's a family tradition. Maybe it's a yearly festival, or we always go to the baseball stadium and watch a game. So, for me, our family always hosts a lemonade stand. So all of the kids in the neighborhood come together and they host a lemonade stand. All the proceeds then get given to a local charity here in our area. And the kids will go and actually deliver the money in person to that charity. A couple of times they've ended up in the paper, get their photo taken.
You guys do it big.
We really do. Right, because you did one last year. Was it your second year?
Yeah, we did it to raise money for we're foster parents, so for the child services agency. But yeah, hey, Britt's out there, your wife, with the hammer and the nail, making the the actual stand bit. It's quite the ordeal. It brings us from a different city into your hood to come to your annual lemonade stand. Right.
So if we're putting together this social post, Church Summer Bucket List Ideas could be the title slide. And then the second slide, it could start with me, like host a lemonade stand. And maybe I provide a photo from a previous year. And then it says, who recommended this? Me, Pastor Brady. And then it could go to Alexander and he could put in one of his summer things. And you just keep sliding through the carousel and everyone's recommending different things. You learn about people, you see photos, maybe you get some inspiration for how to make the summer. It's a short period.
Yeah.
It's gone soon enough. And how do you make the most of it?
Do you have an actual bucket list, a personal bucket list?
Many.
Yeah.
I guess you could have one list.
Right.
Many items on the list.
I only have 2 items on my list right now.
Is one to get a tattoo with me?
No, it's get scuba certified.
Oh.
Yeah, and go to the Wimbledon tennis tournament. That's all I have so far.
So when you get scuba certified, is it like, okay, now let's go to Australia, let's go to the Great Barrier Reef?
No, I don't have anything in sight, but I did scuba training in a pool when I was younger and loved it. And so it's just kind of one of those things like, yeah, maybe when the kids are moved out or I'm retired or something, I'd love to just have a scuba tank and strap it on my back and jump in deep water.
Now, the thing is, you have a lot of inner ear problems.
Yeah, send it.
All right, Mr. Vertigo.
Hey, for the next couple, we have examples that we're going to show. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the example.
Yeah.
This one's called the Come With Me post.
Yes. So this comes from English-speaking church in Tokyo. On Instagram, you can find them at ICA Tokyo. And I was on a call with this church recently. I think it was actually just yesterday from when we were recording this episode. And they did a social media post, and it's one of their best performing of the year. And it's really simple. And we'll play it right now. If you're listening, you'll still hear it, and you'll hear the voiceover. Just imagine that you're getting a bunch of B-roll of you seeing the church.
Come with me to an international church in the heart of Tokyo.
Good morning.
We're in the middle of a series called The Jesus Way.
私たちはですね、このイエス
into a close, day by day, walk with Him relationship.
Just got done with our first service and second services happening right now, but every Sunday we have a message from our pastor and also just a great time of worship. And so also wanted to just head downstairs and show you that we have some youth programming for kids and youth. So let's check it out. We just finished church at ICA Tokyo, and now we are all headed out to lunch. Thanks you guys for following along.
So basically, there's a woman in this church, and she starts the video just holding out her phone, and it's pointing at her, and it's like, hey, come with me to visit an international church in the heart of Tokyo. And then what follows is like, hey, this is where you would park, and then you'd come up this stairs, and you get your coffee. Oh, and I took, the train to get here, and it's just like a day in the life. And this was a type of video that I had recommended this church try. And then we had a follow-up call, and they said, yeah, like it was our highest performing post. And excuse me, I think any church can do a post like this. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Because you're going to church. You need to shoot this on your phone. The whole point is to do it on your phone. Do not break out the fancy camera, okay? Do not. Use the phone. And when you're at church on Sunday, your only responsibility is, aside from shooting that one clip that's going to be the opening clip of you walking, looking at the phone, all the rest is just B-roll whenever you feel like you want to shoot it.
Easy.
And then it's after the fact that you stitch those clips together and then record your voiceover that ties it all together. So you don't have to script this ahead of time. You don't have to worry about like, oh, did I get the clip I needed for when I talked about this? No, shoot the footage on the Sunday and then record the voiceover after the fact. And you'll have this awesome thing. This church pinned it to their Instagram profile. So now if you're visiting this, it's the first clip you see.
So smart.
It's like a plan your visit prep guide.
Yeah. It's, this is a successful post archetype outside of the church world, right? Like, come with me, on my day at the office, or come with me to this new cafe. All manner of influencers use this post archetype because we love to be entertained by the behind the scenes kind of perspective of someone, whether it's a brand or a person or what have you. But you just said it. If to pin this on your Instagram profile is so disarming for folks who are landing on your Instagram profile from whatever avenue, however they got there, they're checking out your church to see, hey, what is it like at this church? And to see that as the first post and see like a real behind the scenes, not overly produced experience of what it actually looks like to be at your church on a Sunday, it doesn't just stand alone as, congrats to this church for this being their most viewed social post. That's great, but it doesn't just stand alone. It works as this evergreen piece of content for folks who are evaluating your church by what they see on Instagram.
You mentioned people evaluating a church. One of the three audiences on social. First is your congregation. Second is those that have no idea who you are that might see this. And the third is those that are visiting your social profiles to evaluate. You might think, why did this post end up as one of their best performers? Well, because it is relevant to all three audiences. It's great for those that are evaluating. If someone sees this come across their feed, that's what's cool about this story, which is like, come with me as I X, Y, and Z at a church. You're like, oh, I don't go to church, or I've never been to this church. What is it like? I'm curious. I watch videos like this for things that I have no interest in. Like, come with me as I get like Botox in my forehead. I'm like, I don't really know what that's about. Like, what are you doing over there? That's curious. You might think, well, why do people who go to this church care about this video? Because, and the pastor of this church said it to me on the call, we sure do love to watch people do the thing that we do. And I was like, that's true. You watch this and you go to that church and you're like, that is what we do. And guess what? This performed well. It probably has a bunch of shares because people who have been going to this church and have invited their friends, all they have to do is click that little paper airplane button, send this, share this with those people and say, hey, like I said, I've invited you to this church before. Like, here's what it looks like. Would love to have you. And now that person has a very tangible, visual example of what they're being asked to do.
Yeah.
There's something to just us enjoying watching what we already do. Like, I got home from a birthday trip with my daughter from Morocco. And like when you're somewhere and you're looking up stuff ahead of time, my TikTok feed afterwards is like, things you can't miss in Marrakesh. Now, mind you, I'm home from Morocco at this
You
point.
were just there.
And I'm like, oh, I got to watch this. And I was like, yeah, did that. Whew, all right. Your experience is the same as mine. Keep moving. So great post, 100%, big winner. Try it. If there's one post you try,
Yes.
make it this one.
And at the risk of belaboring it, because we do have 11 others to get to, we've talked on this show about how there's a new subdivision being built in between your church and mine. Our church are separated by a country block, and right in between, this year, they're going to build hundreds of new homes. So presumably, there's going to be many folks moving into that, onto our country block in the next year or two, who are going to search churches near me. And if both of our churches did this post, they could evaluate what it's like to attend our church just by that post. They could see your church, big space, lots of people, certain demographic, certain type of worship, on and on and on, and see, oh, that really resonates with me. Or see my church, which is a lot smaller, looks a lot different, and see, oh, that resonates with me. But just by doing this simple post to address those three audiences, we can be serving people for quite a long time.
The 2026 version of the welcome wagon. You're new to the community? Come with me as I attend a church down the street from you.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is the B-roll inspo post.
So this example we'll put up on the screen. It doesn't have any voiceover, so I will explain it for those that are listening. But this is from the same church, actually, and it's a singular piece of B-roll shot on a phone. So it's Sunday morning, music, worship portion, and this is shot from the back of the sanctuary. And the video is of a man worshiping, and he has his daughter on his shoulders, and his daughter is kind of like raising her hands as she's like emulating everyone else raise her hands. And then the caption on the video reads, "You're never too young or too old to say yes to Jesus." That's all it is. It's a short post, and the composition is very simple. Singular piece of B-roll shot on a phone, clear white text on 2 lines, and that's it. And in my conversation with this church yesterday, we were trying to diagnose, like, what about this post made it perform well? Because there were a number of other posts on their grid that had some similarities that, to my eye, I think I knew why they didn't perform as well. And it came down to simplicity versus complexity in composition. And this is one of the, pitfalls that us creatives can tend to fall into, which is like, I made a collage of like 4 different images, and I have this like really fancy typography lockup, and people perceive that almost as like an ad, as a promo. We're just naturally seeing that and going, that is too produced. It must be an ad, or it must be promoting something. It's just not worth my time. Whereas we see this, and it's so clearly simple that we interpret it as, oh, this must be authentic and genuine, which is a silly way that it works, but that's what happens when you have to make decisions on content to scroll or stop in fractions of a second. The other thing that's working with this composition is the strong contrast. The video clip has been underexposed either when it was shot or in post-production. And then the clear white text that says you're never too young or too old to follow Jesus is so clearly visible because the contrast is strong. Why does that matter? When I'm scrolling, you're not asking me to like do any work. I'm naturally able to read that. It's not difficult. There's like no resistance that I feel when I'm trying to decipher what am I looking at. And those type of simple choices really can make the difference with distribution between one that reaches like twice as many people as another post.
Well, we know that we know it empirically, but even sometimes more importantly, we know it personally, anecdotally, how fast we evaluate videos as we're scrolling. Which one is going to earn my attention? When am I going to stop this scroll? And so you really do have what seems like a fraction of a second nowadays to get someone to stop their scroll. And so these lower visually complex designs that garner your attention where it needs to be, in this case, on the short, clear, concise sentence that does hold a lot of meaning in it. It draws your attention and really does earn someone's, attention in that moment, earns them stopping the scroll. And this should be good news for whoever's doing social at your church, whoever's collecting these posts, because we're heading into the summer, because we're encouraging you on this episode today to test some of these things. Next Sunday, just during service or whatever, empower someone with a phone to go and collect 4, 6, 8, 10 of these clips. And for the next 4 weeks, post 1 a week and see how it goes. Just give it a try, see how it resonates with your 3 audiences, and make adjustments from there. But now it's the perfect time to give something like this a try.
And if I'm not mistaken, this singular piece of B-roll was actually a part of the compilation from the previous post.
Right.
Like, you can reuse content. It's so funny. I see this on on Instagram and TikTok now, because the algorithmic lottery exists, if you have something that you want to say, you probably have to take multiple stabs at saying it. And one of the examples that I used with this church is that there's these two producers that I keep seeing on TikTok, and they've made a remix of a song, a mashup of a song, and they keep like promoting it. Hey, it's coming out on Spotify soon. And I went to their page, and I think I saw like a dozen different videos of them promoting the identical song in basically the identical way. And some of them were skits, like where one of them was like, I'm showing my brother the mashup I just made for the first time. And the brother's like, oh, wow, this is kind of good. And they just start like dancing together to it. And a lot of them just had like really average views. And then one of them had like 2 million or something. And I thought like, so they had to play the game where they made basically 8 of the same video.
Right.
And one of them broke through. And that one video probably led to like 3,000 people like saving it on Spotify.
Or it's going to carry the entire load for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like you can do the Come With Me video in a bunch of different versions. And guess what? No one's going to see them too many times where they're like bored of them. And in this example, you can use the same B-roll in multiple different clips.
Yeah.
So like one of the leaders on this call was like, what are some low-hanging fruit options for us to do that's creative? You know, we're a small church. And I was like, yeah, like every church is trying to work with like the limited resources that they have. Only shoot on your phone.
Yeah.
It's preferred. And then throw 2 lines of white text on top. I said, keep it to 2 or 3 lines. Don't make it like 4 or 5, 6 lines, because that's just going to make it like, I look at that and I'm like, it's a lot to read. Like, I'm just going to keep scrolling. And that's all you need. And then use that same clip in another post.
Yeah.
Use it again down the road.
Totally.
All those things are acceptable and actually preferred right now.
Yes. All right, moving on. How about the stance post?
So this comes from another church that we are connected with. And they did a post on the conflict in Iran, And it was their best performing post of the past 90 days. And this is a really delicate needle to thread. But here's what's true. And we've talked about this in the context of, should your church respond to tragedy or to current events that are like trending worldwide? And what we've always said is, if it's local to you, yes. Or if it overlaps with an existing ministry or like mission, vision element of your church, yes. And what we know to be true is that these are the types of posts that draw the most, they are like magnets for attention. And so when I was reviewing this church's report, it did not surprise me at all that this was the post that was standing out the most. And I always just say, like, as long as it felt like this was an authentic thing for you to do and it overlapped with either your existing ministry's mission or was local to you, absolutely go for it.
Yeah.
You just have to know 2 things. 1, it is going to draw a lot of negative attention, and you have to be okay with that. What's also true is that the opposite of that will happen, which is that it will galvanize your existing congregation who likely believe the same thing you're believing. And what's also true is that we don't have to be purposely sensational on any of these things, because the scriptures run counter to pretty much all conventional wisdom. So anytime you kind of plant your flag in the ground and say, hey, this is what we believe, people are going to be like, that's awful, that's weird. The only final bit of caution is that I've seen this with not churches, but with non-church like YouTube accounts or meme accounts. You realize as you play this algorithmic lottery that, okay, like anytime I hit a high polarity topic, we get a ton of views. Okay, I'm just going to hit only high polarity topics.
Right.
And then you kind of become that page that's perceived as like all you're ever doing is piggybacking on top. You're like an ambulance chaser sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like, that's not a good look. But inversely, I see churches shy away from this all the time. And that's totally fine.
Sure.
But like, it's also okay, I think, to say, hey, this is a high polarity topic, but like, our church has something to say to this because it's local to us or because we have existing ministries that focus on this. And so we are actually in the weeds, in the dirt, getting our hands dirty, caring for people in this way. And here's what we believe.
Well, that's the pastoral part of it, right? That this is not a social strategy to garner attention, although you pretty much know that a post like this is going to get attention, and you articulated both positive and possibly negative attention. But, you know, for a current example here in Canada, there's a bill trying to be passed by our current government called Bill C9, and it's relevant to churches and how we preach the scriptures, how we are able to preach the scriptures in our worship spaces. And so that would be like a time where it's like, yeah, if you're talking about this in church, it's probably a good opportunity if you care to. Like you said it, you don't have to.
Yeah.
We're not telling you that you need to post here, but that would be a totally reasonable opportunity to post a stance post and kind of let people know where your church or where the church in Canada stands on this issue, because this is a federal bill, so it's a nationwide thing we're going through. So that's kind of a topical example that we're going through right now.
We have a friend of ours who's been very vocal on this, who's a pastor. And not only is it relevant to him being a pastor, because the bill has like these faith components, but his family also has a history of being in government.
Right.
And so like he's been up and close and personal with like the passing of laws and like the debating of these things. And so he has like, a double intersection there that makes him uniquely qualified to talk about these things.
Yeah. Okay, something a little more lighthearted. How about the summer event photo dump?
This is pictures of you protesting Bill C9. Summer bucket list. In all seriousness,
This is yourself chained up in front of the House of Commons.
Yeah. This is like the free square on bingo, right? Yeah. So you're having a summer event of some kind. You're just snapping photos on your phone. You post them after the fact, make it a carousel, whatever it might be. This is so easy. And it works better in summer because people look better and the world looks better in summer.
True.
Like we have churches that will do free makeovers for their websites. And if you want one, nucleus.church/makeover. And they'll be like, can you not come now for a photo?
Right, because it involves a free photo shoot.
Because like we're all in coats and pasty and it's really dark and sad outside. And we don't want our church to be reflected that way. And it's like, honestly, I understand
something about, late spring, early winter, especially where we are, where you could try your very best to take a good photo and the outdoors are like, no, it's not going to look good.
And our skin too. Like it hasn't seen the sun in 4 months.
Yeah.
It happens every year. I'm like, Christmas time, I'm like, oh, it's really dark outside. Like, but I don't look that bad. March comes, I'm like, oh my, it's the crypt keeper looking back at me in the mirror.
Have you noticed our generation, elder millennials, this is pretty much all we post to Instagram nowadays is photo dumps?
I think it makes sense because we used to share things in our lives.
Then the algorithm took that from us.
Right. And social media just became media and it wasn't social. And this is kind of our way of being like, this is what the algorithm will accept, but it's still me saying, Brady Shearer went to 7-Eleven and got a 7-Up.
Yes.
Thumbs up.
Exactly. Okay. You mentioned the last one is like a free square on the bingo. This one is actually the free square on the bingo, and it's the happy birthday to the pastor post.
Yeah. So obviously this doesn't have to be exclusive to summer. But if you're in that space where you're like, all right, we just need a post when not much is going on this week, or we're just wanting to be keep it light. There is something about knowing. It feels great when you've got a banger, right?
It just can't flop.
Yeah. And this is true of the happy birthday post.
Yeah.
It is almost always a church's highest performing post. And Facebook loves these especially, okay? You're guaranteed.
Well, that's your pastor's demographic, likely.
So it doesn't have to be a lead pastor. If anyone, just happy birthday. Although whatever precedent you send,
you got to be posting birthdays for the rest of the year.
Lead pastor is always good, but if you start to get into the exec team and then it's December and you're like, oh, we got to promote Christmas. I can't, Pastor Dave, I don't really, I'm sorry, I just can't.
Or you don't know when Pastor Janice's birthday is.
Gosh, Pastor Janice.
Yeah, it's tough for her. How about another post to highlight the pastor? It's the what our pastor actually does in summer post.
So this is day in the life, again, kind of style. It can be done via either photos or video, but it's focused specifically on your pastor. Why? Your pastor is likely the most visible person in the church. And so it makes sense to show what's going on with them. They're the one that's on stage the most on Sunday, and that's the key. They're on the stage the most. That's where people almost always see them, there or in the lobby, but it's always church related.
What do they wear on Monday?
Right. What are they doing on their day off? Oh, look, Pastor Janice is in the garden, or Pastor Dave is crying because nobody celebrated his birthday, day in the life. Pastor Mark, he really loves to take his son. Oh, they're going to the baseball game together. Oh, it's, throwing the ball in the backyard. Oh, he's got the barbecue out. He's been just humanizing your pastor, showing them what's going on. This is the type of thing that builds community, it builds culture, and they become talking points for when Sunday comes around. And that's what's so great about social and seizing the 167 hours beyond Sunday service each week is that when you create entry points on social, when the saints are scattered, when they do come together on Sunday, if we do a day in the life for Pastor Alex here, and it shows him oh, wow, that's a lot of scuba gear in his garage. Now there's a talking point for me to bring up when I see him on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, moving on. This next one's a video post, but it is a proven post archetype. It's just to mic somebody up on Sunday.
Yeah, and we'll group number 8 and 9 together here.
All right.
miking someone up on Sunday, or mic someone up who volunteers at VBS. So a few years ago, this would have been impossible because you're not going to follow someone around with a boom mic.
Right.
But a few years ago, these wireless mics became prolific because it's not that wireless mics didn't exist before, but they were not reliable and they were not small.
Hashtag Team Tiny Mic.
Right. You'd have issues with wireless mics before where it's like, oh my goodness, it's crossing with someone's cell phone. And you'd record something and it was just like ruined. So they fixed that. And then they also made them incredibly small. And they have now connectors where, we use the, what do we use? The DJIs.
DJI.
Yeah. And the DJIs have now a connector to the Sony Hot Shoes where without even wires.
Yeah, no adapters, no nothing.
You can just connect these tiny mics directly to your camera.
You do it right to your phone.
Right to your phone. Exactly. And so they just like hook onto somebody's lapel, let's say, and you can just let them run. Their battery life is like 17 days.
Yeah.
And what this will get invariably.
Oh, and they sound great.
Absolutely. Just don't turn on noise reduction.
Right.
I have found the algorithms, at least in the 2 generations ago, DJI mics, not to be great. Anyway, invariably what you get are really candid, heartwarming interactions that you would otherwise never get visibility into.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about miking someone up who's in the green room on the worship team, miking someone up who's in kids ministry, miking up a literal kid.
Well, that's where you're going to get chaos, which will definitely do well on social.
Right. So if you don't want the heartwarming version, or if you're like, this really worked, what would be another variation of this? Mic up the volunteers of at VBS, because
To see what those poor volunteers are going through.
kids ministry chaos, like that's a POV that you otherwise wouldn't get. And really at the heart of a lot of these is, what is a unique POV? If social media, indeed, as we know, supply is outpacing demand, how do you break through the noise? You break through the noise by doing something different and having a unique story. The unique story from ICA Tokyo is, come with me to an international church in the heart of Tokyo. Right. Oh, there's a white church or an English-speaking church in Tokyo? That's interesting. Oh, it's multi-ethnic, it's multi-generational, but it's English-speaking. Huh, that's different. I'm intrigued by this. If you can take that, but from a POV, so creative inversion or creative difference, oh, I'm like seeing visibility into what's happening in church in a way that I never would, that's equally compelling, but just in a different way. And again, really easy to put together. You do need the microphone for this. I understand. Like they're, a couple $100 for 2 of these, and that'll run. You can use those for so many different things for so long. And I'll also mention here, if you want to have us give you a personalized look at your social media, if you go to auditmychurch.com, fill out a quick form. We're happy to look at that for you and give you a social media audit. It's free, auditmychurch.com. We are talking about social. So.
Yeah, we paired examples 8 and 9 together there. So we're on to number 10. This is a proven question kind of framework that is certainly predated social media, but it works on social. This is the this or that summer edition.
Yeah, a lot of the posts so far have been about people watching, spectating. Let's get some engagement here, okay? Engagement has dropped dramatically on social. I'm quoting this out of thin air, but I think I saw a report from Buffer. They released their new report for 2026, and I think it said there was a close to 30% drop in engagement platform-wide. Why? Social media is not social. It's just media. Do you tend to engage with your TV? Unless I'm throwing stuff at the screen when I'm watching sports. No, I'm just watching, right? So that's the same with social. Engagement is dropping because our behavior has dramatically changed. Makes sense. So that's important context if you're looking at your own numbers and you're like, maybe I do suck. It's like, no, hey, just things are changing and other things are taking precedent and other things are taking a back seat. But engagement is still useful.
Yeah.
And specifically on stories, but also on the main feed, the this or that type of post framework is always great. And it can be a really useful lead-in into event promotion. So this or that, hey, are you a hamburger or hot dog person at the barbecue? And you could have like a vote sticker or a poll sticker. There are even now polls in
on
Instagram
feed,
posts. And then the follow-up on the second slide or in the second story could be, whatever you're into, barbecue is happening after church this Sunday. Looking forward to seeing you there. This or that. It always works because the choices are so finite. People mess this up. They ask open-ended questions.
What do you like on your hamburger?
Yeah, it's a little like the more finite it can be and the more closed-ended it can be, the more you force dichotomy and a choice.
Yeah.
Much easier.
Yeah.
Right? What's your favorite thing at a barbecue? It's like, I mean, a lot of things. Sometimes I'm into ribs. Sometimes you can't get this at most barbecues, but my grandfather makes this, and this. It's okay. Well, you're not commenting that. It's like hamburger or hot dog. Go.
Hamburger.
That's wrong. The answer is hot dog. See, this or that. Dogs. Give me a couple dogs. Yeah. We love a dog in my family. 4 dogs.
And like to the meat, like a dirty dog, like not an artisan all beef hot dog. You're talking
we have no dog discrimination.
Okay.
In our house.
Mm-hmm. So, but you just don't, it's mystery meat. It's that kind of dog.
No, I usually get the all beef.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll usually get that one. But like if I'm at the ballpark.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Lined
Time
up.
and place.
Let's give a shout out to our favorite people for dogs, the Chicago people.
I've never had one.
Chicago dog with there are 8 different ingredients on it. There's celery salt, there's tomato. There
No ketchup?
No, that's the sin. Just yellow ballpark mustard, and then there's the fluorescent green relish. And I'm still missing a couple. I think there's like some onion in there or something.
Yeah.
And, every place has their own dog.
Mm-hmm. Regional dogs.
Yeah, and all around the world. Like you go to Denmark and they're like, "Have you had the Danish dog?" It's like, "No, I haven't." And like, what is it? And
I'm going to now.
The puka dogs from Hawaii. Oh, shout out to those are different. Oh,
yeah. Wow.
I'm
Next
so
week on
hungry.
the Pro Church Tools Show. Okay, you can't eat these. How about the summer reading recommendations?
Okay, so similar to our first item, which, as you'll recall, summer church bucket list. You go to each staff member or key leader and ask for 1 reading recommendation. You make the carousel out of that. Slide 2 is like Brady recommends this book. Slide 3 is Alex recommends this book. Slide 4, maybe you have a little more free time. Who doesn't like to crack open a book outdoors?
You go to the cottage.
Reading outside. Oh, let's go. Sounds great. And now you have reading recommendations from the church. So, almost certainly there's some crossover with your faith. Maybe you missed church because you're at the cottage, but you're reading. And so you're still, making time for the Lord.
Reading recommendations is actually a post archetype that I'll do on my church page, recurring every quarter or so, or maybe once or twice a year. One of the ones I did that was very successful because we're in the season of parenting young kids was like, hey, I'm a dad with 2 young boys. I'm also a pastor. Here's what we're reading with our kids before bed right now. And I just kind of sat down on the rocking chair in their bedroom and talked about, 3 or 4 books. That was a successful post for us. So this one will probably be successful for you this summer as well.
Well, don't forget to include Mortimer by Robert Munch as a
classic.
Yes.
We're reading the airplane one is our, what's her name? I forget it, but it's the airplane one where she flies the airplane and has to be talked down and land the airplane on herself. The little mini book by Robert Munch.
Last night we were all trying to put our 3-year-old to bed, and she's like, "No, not until we all sing as a family in unison. Clang, clang, rattle, bang, bang,
Make my noise all day."
Okay. And then we found out that my wife, her mom had a different tune to it. So it's similar, but it's like not the same. And I'm like, that's not how you sing clang, clang, rattle, bang, bang. Right. And then there's a huge family fight, and the kids stormed
This is
off.
the most Canadian thing we've ever said on this show. It really is.
So like, Robert who?
Yeah.
Munch.
Okay, we got 2 more. The caption this post.
So, first slide, funny photo. Really easy. You're taking photos on Sunday. You know this feeling.
Yeah.
You're trying to get a nice photo of your pastor preaching where they don't look like a lunatic, but everyone mid-sentence looks silly.
Yes.
You take one of those, and you say, it's blank on the first slide, caption this. Second slide, you've already got a funny caption that you've added that you came up with. Same with slide 3 and 4. And then the final slide is like, put your own caption in the comments below. And everyone's adding in their own comments.
Love it.
It's fun. It's lighthearted.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy.
Good
and it doesn't have to be just that. That's like one example of a funny photo, but it could be anything where hijinks are taking place at church.
Okay, 2 months from now, summer has come and gone. It's time to post the best summer moments recap carousel.
Pretty self-explanatory, right? Like cap off summer. Everyone knows that feeling where the days are getting a bit shorter and they're getting a tiny bit chillier at night. And you're like, oh no, it's happening again.
Yeah.
This beautiful period is slipping through my fingers. And you want to just put a stamp on it and be like, these are some great things that happened this summer in the life of our church. We'll miss it. But guess what? Back to church is around the corner.
There you go.
Fall, changing of colors. We got fall festival. We got trunk or treat. Christmas will be here before you know it. And right after Christmas is Easter. You know what happens after Easter? Summer's back. We're so back. We're so back. So don't miss that opportunity. 13 social posts for summer. Feel free to steal all of them, any of them that stood out to you. Just don't do this. Don't be the person that listened to this full episode, the 20 minutes, the 30 minutes, and then doesn't do one of these posts. Otherwise, why did you listen? Make sure you do at least one. The first one's a great example because I was on a call with that church, or the second one rather. I was on a call with that church and I said, here's a great post you should do. And they did it.
Right.
And on the next call, they showed me, it was like our best performing post. That's not to be like, oh, I'm giving you great advice. But the point is that you're taking action. It's one thing to listen to a show and go, oh, that would be great. Oh, that would be great. Make it actually great for your church in your context.
And the bar for so many of these is very low.
Yeah. That being said, if you don't do anything, don't unsubscribe. Just thank you for your time, attention, and trust. We'll talk to you next week.
Crazy how Mercedes are just a bunch of cheaters, huh?
They got the compression ratio. They got this. They got their fuel. I mean, at this point, frauds?
I mean, shout out to whoever's job description is find a loophole in the regs.
Lewis Hamilton, who like always creeping on everyone else's cars.